So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hi, villains, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast in what was going to be a three-way transfer thingy. Looking at three different players. I just haven't had time to put three things together. So we're going to have to make do with Abdou Diallo today. And what's the likelihood of this coming off? Probably won't. We've been linked with three players in the last hour. This is somebody I like. This is somebody that may not leave Paris Saint-Germain, but Le Parisien seemed to be very, very confident that he wanted to move to Aston Villa. And considering it's the only link that we've had in the last bar, Jan Bednarik, who I think that we will talk about if he does join Aston Villa. This is the only one whereby the source themselves has actually specifically linked the player and attributed comments to the player wanting to play for the actual club itself. Obviously, today we've been linked with players like Cesari. I don't even know how you pronounce his name. Attila Cesari, I'm not even sure how you pronounce it. We've been linked to Bednarik, which it's just been mentioned very, very just a couple of moments ago. That Bednarik is closer to Aston Villa. He would join the season-long loan. And also this guy's came out of the blue today. And I thought this guy was probably the most intriguing of the three. Definitely more intriguing than sitting here talking about Jan Bednarik. And while I have something done up on him, obviously we'll wait until the time comes before we do discuss him. But the guy we're going to be discussing today is Abdou Diallo. As I say, he may join, he may not join. I'm not saying he's going to join. Don't like if he joins, well and good, because I think he's a very, very good player. And we'll take a little look at some of the stuff today. Neil stripped. How's that about? So, right, guys, let's bring up some of the stats on him here. We'll just take a little look at some of the stats and we'll just talk a small little bit about him. He's a guy who's had a very, very varied career so far, where he has where's all my slides gone? Oh, there. Whereby he's played with some big teams. Obviously, started off with Monaco, then he went on to join FC Mainz, and then from there went to play with Dortmund, and then from Dortmund went on to play with Paris Saint-Germain. So he has he's had quite the footballing education, I suppose. Started off as I think he was only 18 years of age when he got his break from Monaco. That was 2014. He played 10 games for Monaco. He did actually go on loan to Zulte Waregem in Belgium for a season. He played 33 games there on loan, which was a nice introduction to, I suppose, big boys football or men's football, I suppose. There obviously went back to Monaco again and then played some games for Monaco after that. Moved on to FC Mainz to play first team football for a year, and then was immediately snapped up 2018 by Borussia Dortmund. So he had he had four moves year after year after year after year, which to me signifies that he does have some he does that people were very intrigued by what he had to bring. And when you look at his tape, you can see it. Like, he's listed it as anywhere from being 6 foot to 6'2", and I think he's more on the 6'2" side of things. He's a bigger, stronger frame. He looks like a guy who's very good at retaining possession. He's an interesting character because since he has since the likes of Sergio Ramos and specifically, I suppose, since Sergio Ramos has come into the team in Paris Saint-Germain, that Diallo has been moved out into the left side, and his career is kind of stalled in Paris Saint-Germain for that very reason. Since he moved in 2019, he's to deal with players there like Marquinhos, like Kipembe, Ramos, those types of guys. So he might be only fourth choice centre half there at the moment, and he would be second choice left back. Obviously, left back being his auxiliary position or his secondary position, and that's where he's played a lot of games for them recently. But that's not to say that's not to say that he isn't a very good centre half. I think the fact that he's got that versatility is something that he's leaned on an awful lot. And in the latter half of the season, last season, and specifically when he plays for Senegal, he always lines up as a centre half. So centre half is definitely his position. Moving out onto the left hand side is something he can do because of his fantastic athleticism and the fact that he is pretty good with the ball at his feet. So we're going to take a little look at him here. We're going to take a look at him in comparison to the centre halves we have at the moment, as opposed to looking at him with regards to the centre halves in the top 5 leagues in Europe. Soupy says Brum is an upgrade on Paris for sure. The rotunda is completed, unlike the Eiffel Tower. Exactly. That's my thoughts. But it's funny that the thing that intrigued me, as I said about this one, is the Parisien and GFFN were confident enough to attribute quotes to him with regards to the fact that he wants to work with Steven Gerrard. And look, it might be a lot of pie in the sky, it might be a lot of nonsense or rubbish, but he's a fun guy to look at. He's a fun player. And if he was somebody that we were looking to bring in, or if this type of player was somebody we're looking to bring in, and I don't disbelieve that it's funny when you're linked with the Jan Bednarek's of this world, and then you're linked with the Abdou Diallos and the Cleta Cars. And I know for a fact that Aston Villa, because of the fact we've been linked with him for so long, Coletta Carr, that we are looking at him, or we were looking at him, maybe a deal couldn't be done. And we are looking now for a centre half when we didn't plan to be looking for one until Diego Carlos got injured. So let's take a look at some of the statistics here. So I don't know, this might be a bit small for those of you with failing eyes like myself. And oh shite, I forgot to change the logo here from Southampton. I told you I had the Jan Bednarak stat sheet done. You can see I've even left in the Southampton logo here as opposed to taking out the PSG. I really need a producer. If anybody out there wants to be my producer, please give me a call on 55555 for the Love of Paul McGrath. I'd absolutely love it. But anyway, Abdou Diallo I've marked him here as 6 foot. I took the smallest height I could get for him. Anything above that then is a bonus, but he's marked anywhere on 3 different sites. Mark him 6 foot, 6'1", and 6'2". So I took the 6 foot. He's left footed. He is 26 years of age. He plays either left centre half or full back. And what we can see here is with the stat sheet that I have there, I marked it in defensive stats and the passing and possession stats as well there. Put him up against Tyrone Mings, Nezri Konsa. Once again, the reasons for that, guys, as you will know, is that I think the Callum Chambers, in comparison to these guys, has a lower sample set. So for that reason, until his sample set gets a bit higher, I won't be including him in here. And yeah, as I say, I think that's fair because the sample set is too low. But when we look at him here, gets through the tackles, 2.45 tackles per game. Granted that some of these were out at left back and he would have more of an opportunity to tackle, but that's still a good clip of tackling, for a defender. Tackles one, he wins 1.52 out of those. Pressures, he's up there with pressures, and pressure success rate is 42% in comparison to the two gentlemen that I have here. And the reason that I'm highlighting these statistics, or those in particular, are that no matter whether he's playing centre half or whether he's playing at left back, his natural want is to use his athleticism to get involved with players. And I've spoken about that with certain players that Villa have been linked to recently, about that they can defend that small bit higher up the field because they have athleticism to get back. They're kind of a see man, get man, see ball, get ball kind of type defenders. And I would say that this guy is one of these guys one of these new types of defenders, should I say, that back themselves to attack the ball. And Attila Shali or whatever you pronounce it as well, he's one of those guys as well. He's a brute. He sees ball, he gets ball, and I'm looking forward to doing a piece on him, albeit I will admit, even with the scouting things that I have access to, it's hard to find statistics in the Turkish league for whatever reason. It always is. It's always notoriously hard to find those statistics. But I do have one or two things on him that I might put together tomorrow or maybe even later today. Or hey, look, if Bednarak joins, then knock all this stuff on the head. But we'll take a look at it anyway. The aerial duel success, as I've seen mentioned there in the comments there, aerial duel success, we can see 76.5% of his aerial duels he was successful with. That's really good for me. That means that he's comfortable, even being out in the left flank, which he was for the start of the season. Obviously, being moved back into centre half for the end of the season, or for the second half of the season, he was comfortable in the air. He's a long, languid strong type guy. He's got a strong frame, as I say, and he uses it when he's in the air. Commits the odd foul, more than the odd foul, 1.63. But then again, being pushed out left and out to the wide, out to a wider defensive area, as we can see here on his heat map, will do that to you. You know, you're going to commit more fouls because you're going to have people running at you more. You're going to have less protection out there. And this guy's comfortable out there. For us, as we know, whereby we only defend with 2 players. Being comfortable in space and being comfortable being attacked and being ran at is probably a massive plus point, I think, for a player like this for Aston Villa at the moment. Once again, when I look at these players as well, it's not really even about signing them. It's about trying to discern what type of a player in the name of God are they actually looking for? What type of a centre half they're looking for? And it may turn out that they sign somebody completely different, but I think the fun of it is trying to find the type of player or the skill sets that they're looking for. And so far, when we look at the aerial dual success rate, I think that's somebody that they're looking for, somebody who can be good in the air. And hopefully they're hoping that they can sign somebody who's good at passing in the ground, like Coletta Carr, like Diego Carlos was, like this guy is, and we can see his passing statistics there, 88.2% passing completion rate, a progressive pass distance of 455.7 yards. I must say, this guy's accurate range of both lateral and diagonal passing is brilliant. Like, you know, there's a reason why he was moved out to left back, and it's because he's a really good passer of the ball. He's the type of guy, when he was with Dortmund, I read a piece that Michael Zorc wrote about him. He's one of the technical directors of Dortmund, and he wrote that the reason that they brought him in was so they could bypass low blocks in midfield, because he was able to switch the play so quickly and so efficiently at such a young age. And now, granted, that would have been back in 2018, 2019, which is 4 years ago, as a 22-year-old, but they had the confidence in him to do that from centre half as a 22-year-old. And that was one of the things that drew him towards Abdou Diallo. And that's kind of something you don't really lose. That ability to be able to ping a pass from a centre half is really important. And we do have Tyrone Mings at the minute, who likes to go along with the ball, or is the person that tries to hold onto the ball for us and tries to pass it out of defence. If you've got somebody there who's a lot more comfortable, which maybe brought into play beside him, I don't know, somebody like an Abdou Diallo or somebody like a Coletta Carr, or somebody who can pass the ball, well, then that's obviously going to be better for us when we're trying to break down those mid blocks, which just cause us so much difficulty, and low blocks, which cause us so much difficulty as well. So that's really kind of the biggest areas the best areas that he offers in are aerial prowess, should I say, and his passing game, for sure. The defensive statistics with regards to tackles and pressures and stuff, I'm not getting too excited about those, for the simple fact that if he's pulled into the centre, they're going to drop by dint of him having protection and him backing off, because that's what centre halves do. You see the best centre halves in the world. I've said it before. Like, you look at the likes of Ruben Diaz, his tackle statistics, his pressure statistics, his block statistics. You want those to be low, because that means they're being protected and they're not having to work that hard. The guys who have massive statistics in there, potentially, when you look at how they play, you want them to be protected, but then you've got some guys who will have huge statistics there as well, and they're being moved around the field and have to tackle in areas that they're not comfortable with. That is one reason why they may have high statistics in there. Other reasons maybe that they're playing in a bad team that have to defend an awful lot as well. So that's why you have to watch and you have to look at the statistics as well, because, you know, your eyes can deceive you and the numbers can deceive you as well. But yeah, this is Abdou Diallo. I'm not going to go into a massive diatribe about him as well, but I think the biggest thing for him is that he's been praised all the way up, and he had those 4 moves in 4 years. And I think for him, he's looking at something at the minute of maybe getting a bit of stability in his career. Yes, he's been at PSG since 2019, so he's 3 years there, but a footballing education has come quickly for him through French leagues. First of all, as with Monaco, then he went into the Belgian league, then he went to the German league with Mainz. So he's not averse to going to a mid-placed team within a league if he wants to continue his footballing education, or maybe get games or get a learning. Like, he left Monaco to join Mainz when he probably could have stayed at Monaco because he was highly thought of. And then through Mainz, then obviously got his move to Borussia Dortmund next year. And then from Borussia Dortmund, immediately a year later, got his move to Crystal Palace. Jesus, that'd be something. To Paris Saint-Germain. So he is somebody who will back himself, and will be confident that he can come in and do a job for a team. And he's not just one of these players who's holding out for a top echelon club all the time. You can kind of probably, like, when if you think of it this way, fourth choice centre half, probably not going to see an awful lot of game time today unless he's going to be pushed out to the left wing. Yes, as I say, at the end of last season he was played centre half, but think about Courtney House. Courtney House for Aston Villa could have stayed here as our fourth choice centre half, and a lot of people are asking why he didn't. But the club have done him a solid by letting him go out and restart his career at Watford, because he hasn't played an awful lot with injuries. And before that, he wasn't getting into the team. And he's 27 years of age, and he's got his career to look after. And I would imagine he's come to Aston Villa and asked to be allowed to go out on loan. Like, he signed a new contract last season. Two reasons for that were probably because he didn't envisage getting injured. Second one is the club probably signed him onto better terms so that they could protect his value in case they need to sell him, because they didn't want him to run down his contract. And yeah, he gets injured, and I think he wants to go and kickstart his career at Watford. So let's see what happens with him. And there could be something similar like this for this guy, where he moves to a club, a mid-range club. And I think that's, that's best case scenario for us at the moment, is we would be considered a middle of the road, middle of the Premier League team. And he wants to probably try his luck in the Premier League, having played in Germany and in France already. So I'm playing in the Champions League as well. So look, will it happen? No, I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Would I be happy if I did? Yeah, I would be very happy if this happened, because he's a well thought of player who's had maybe a year and a half of kind of being out of the Paris Saint-Germain team, which is a fantastic team as well. And he could be someone who could come to us and kickstart his career. If he was to join, I think it would be a good move. But as I say, we will have to see. And there are how many days left? 7 days left in the transfer window. So we will see by then. Let's have a little look at some of your comments that are there. I'm just going to go down to the ones with regards to the actual player himself, if you guys don't mind. Well, Camera Baby actually asked, when are we signing a better number 8, lads? It's madness that we haven't been linked with any. I wouldn't even be like, put it this way, we've been linked to this guy, and the likelihood of us signing him is probably slim. So I wouldn't take being linked with players to be all and end all, but I would be very surprised if they weren't working on a central midfielder at this moment in time. And as I say, 7 days left in the transfer window. We might see some links come out in the next few days. But for me as well, I think a number 8 is definitely needed to come into the group anyway. At least I think a centre half is needed. And as I've said since the start of the transfer window, not confident with the striking options that we have, and I'd like another one to come in there if we could possibly get somebody in there. And I've seen Ben Brereton Diaz linked today, but as I say, I'm definitely going to wait for any strikers to become a small bit more concrete before we do anything there, because I think on a list of priorities, they're definitely down the bottom, as in like third priority of where we're looking to sign at the moment. Where are we? British Mix says those stats are solid. To be fair, all round high stats, better than what we have in all but 2 areas, and likely and being that he'll likely be playing with Mings, he complement him well. Yeah, and as I say, the thing about the Mings situation is that he is like, they're both going to be left-footed. Now, any of you who watch the podcast will know I'm not a massive. I don't really care if there's a left and a right foot combination at centre half. Yeah, look, for obvious reasons, it probably makes sense. But for me, if there comes a time where you have to put your 2 best defenders in the field, and they'll figure it out. They're professional footballers. They'll figure it out between the two of them. And there was times, actually, if you go back and you watch the game against Crystal Palace, the Konsa and Mings switched specifically in the first half. Yes, towards the end of the first half, they actually, the two of them switched for a 10-minute period. I can't say whether they did it in the second half, but I remember noticing it when I was watching back, and I thought it was interesting that the two of them did switch sides, and whether they were just marking certain players or looking it towards our details, I don't know. But yeah, I'm not a big, like, it wouldn't be the end of the world if we had 2 left footers as our 2 centre halves for me at all. Adrian McKeever says, as a club, we need to get a move on and bring in a centre back, especially with Carlos injury and House going out on loan. Yeah, and I think we will. You know, we still have Konza and we still have Chambers that we can play there. So while we're in immediate need for the rest of the season to bring in a centre half, for sure, 100% agree. I think we can afford to make sure that we're negotiating for the right player for us. Whoever, like, and look, we may not get the number 1 target that we have. I would go so far as to say that we likely won't get the number 1 target that we're looking for at the right now, because teams know that we're looking for somebody and they may up the price. And look, that's just unfortunate for the simple fact that we spent 29 million on somebody and they got injured. Can't blame the club for that. But what I can understand is maybe why the centre half is badly needed, but we do have Chambers and we do have Konza, so we're not threadbare there just yet. But we would be if we were to go into the rest of the season with only 3 centre halves. So I can understand why they are, definitely. And I would be, listen, my beard would fall off, I'd say, if we didn't buy a centre half before the end of the season. And likewise, I think we would bring in maybe definitely 1, maybe 2, and possibly 3. Just have a hunch on that we could get 1 in each line all the way up. Yes, Captain K says, I've seen us getting pressured with a high press at times. We struggle to pass out from the back, and could he help combat this issue? Yes, as I mentioned, that Michael Zorc mentioned that, whereby teams were setting their mid block and then were allowing their attacking players to press up higher in the field. He was able to get them out of those situations because he was able to, number 1, carry the ball, and second of all, he was able to carry it past the press and then on towards the mid block and then essentially overshoot the mid block with good passing. So look, it's something that I read that was what Borussia Dortmund that's what they found intriguing about him. So yeah, in theory, that's something that he could do. Where else are we? Yeah, Johnny says, do we ever know if he's played the right centre-back position? Have to assume whoever we bring in will be playing with wings, so it might be... Yeah, sorry, I think I answered that question earlier. I only saw it now. But for me, it's not the end of the world, having 2 left-footers there. I think that... I think that look, it's not the end of the world for me, but we'll see what way the club feel about it, for sure. Johnny also says, I take almost anyone over Bednarak, to be fair, so the bar has to be clear. Ain't that high. The bar he has to clear ain't that high. And Party DZN says, the worst part of this Bednarak deal is I'm mentally preparing myself to get let down when we signed him, but we've been linked to 2 brilliant replacements today, and then had this news. So let's just see, I suppose. Yeah, I'd like to talk about them all. I think it's I enjoy looking at players. I enjoy, like, Abdou Diallo is somebody that's been played at the top echelon of European football since 2008, as I say, nearly 5 years now. So he's definitely somebody that we should talk about when we're linked to a player of that stature, who's only 26 as well. So we will continue to talk about these players as we're linked to them. We may sign them, we may not, but it's a bit of crack anyway. You know, it's better than watching teams lose 3-1 to Crystal Palace. And that is for sure. Well, it is. It's better crack for me anyway. I don't know about you guys, but it certainly is for me. Aurelio Gomez says, have they never seen Rocky 2, where he retrained from being southpaw? No, that would be something. And yes, we do need a bit of Rocky spirit, I think, in the squad at the moment. And I think it's definitely I think, yeah, we can invoke the spirit of Rocky Balboa, I think, specifically when we go 2-1 down, because we definitely can't get ourselves up off the canvas and start punching back at that well, we haven't been able to do it really since the turn of the year. So that would be nice if we were able to invoke that spirit and get back on parity after going down. But look, as I say, we've got West Ham at the weekend. Myself and Paddy will be doing a preview show probably on Friday, and we will come back with a preview show. And look, if anything breaks tomorrow with regards to transfers, we will come back and we will chat more about them. Thanks so much, everybody. It's been 25 minutes of just chatting, about a player that we've been linked to. Thanks a million for your time. Thanks a million for always watching. Really appreciate every single one of you for watching and for listening and for being part of the show with your great comments. And I hope these stat sheets and stuff like that, I hope they're of value, and if they are, and if you want to hear of, you want to see of any of them, just let me know. I'd like to do more of them. Anyway, thanks so much, guys. Gotta run. Have a fantastic afternoon. Have a fantastic evening. Until next time, up the Villa.